Are back. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. We are continuing on with Tales of Graces F, just grinding out titles. Yeah, I think I'm slowly starting to go insane. Hopefully I'm getting to a point where we can just move forward. We're at level 41. I basically earned every level in just this one area. Yeah, and we are just pushing through. We are just spamming arts and hoping to get the necessary, titles for those arts so that we can knock out those titles. We've used this 212 times. If we look, Lightning Strike and Demon Fang we both had to use 800 times, so I'm assuming all of these are probably going to need to be used about 800 times. Oh, Infernal Torrent, we had a new one to get a thing for, so let's work on knocking that out. Ooh, we got pasta from our Ellis mixer. We have no titles for Malik. Oh, he's on manual. We need to set him to auto so that he can try to, I don't know, get some of these titles. we may end up having to just turn Malik's titles or Malik's abilities on, and then as we progress through the game, maybe he'll unlock them. So is this still the beginning of the game? Not exactly the beginning. So the game has a time jump. It starts, you start off as kids, but it's pretty limited in like what you can unlock as kids. And you don't get some of the titles and some of the abilities until after the time jump. So yes, relatively speaking, this is still the beginning of the game. Because I don't have any of the other characters. But we did have to push through a little bit of like a prologue before we got to this point. Which is where I did grind a couple levels, trying to get some items to drop, because certain enemies, if you kill a large number of them, will drop what's called a soul core, and that, I have no idea what the fuck they're for, but if every enemy is going to drop one and I need to complete the enemy book, then that's what I'll do, is grind them out. But like these axe beaks don't drop a soul core, so we got nothing for grinding them. You know what? I do want to do something, actually, real quick. I wonder if I can just do it from my phone. Manage my channel directly from my phone. Yes. Stream manager. Edit stream info. We want to change the stream title real quick. Else I'll leave. Ad breaks. Can I even do that? Oh, just click save up here. Did that change it? I hope that changed the title. That's bound to get people's attention. Will it get Tim Allen's people's attention? That's what I really want.
Not bad, don't you think?
I'm gonna get that cease and desist. It's gonna happen.
Did we get carried away?
What's likely going to happen is both Tim Allen and Jonathan Taylor Thomas are going to send me cease and desist. Jonathan Taylor Thomas is going to be like, I'm still alive. Because that's what Tim Allen wants you to believe. You'd be surprised. He has just started another sitcom. He's got another show on Hulu now. And people try to tell me all the time that Jonathan Taylor Thomas is still alive. And I'm like, no, he wasn't. No, he's not, because Tim Allen paid for a body double to try and cover up the crime, but nobody believes me. Yeah, he's got a sitcom on Hulu with Kat Dennings, where he basically plays an angry right-wing auto mechanic. So, and then Kat Dennings is his daughter, who plays the leftist. It's very odd couple. Kat Dennings, though, I mean, I think Kat Dennings is fucking hilarious in some of the stuff that she does. I'm more of a Kristen Ritter. Like Two Bro Girls. That show was fucking hilarious. And then what I've seen of her in like Marvel hasn't been bad. Marvel, the MCU is very questionable though. I have very strong opinions on the MCU.
Stay sharp, even against
Let's keep moving.
The movies that people absolutely lost their shit for were the wrong movies, and the movies that were absolutely fucking awesome are the ones that get shit on. I do not watch a whole lot of TV. I watch whatever my partner happens to be like watching most of the time. So like I'll sit down and watch whatever she's watching. We tend to stream some of the same shows. Like we'll watch certain shows like once a year. So like right now we're watching One Tree Hill again. We'll watch the OC again. So we kind of like watch the same stuff. It's just kind of like our comfort stuff. We just kind of like sit back and watch that stuff. Scrubs. We watch Scrubs a lot. I keep thinking I should like rewatch The Office at some point, but like other than that, I don't really watch much of anything. I started Castlevania. I need to finish it.
Won't take long. Okay, next. That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
And I have not watched any of the new like MCU shows or any of the new like Star Wars shows. Like the Acolyte, I heard was really good, but I didn't watch it.
Hardly worth dirtying my blade.
I keep meaning to go watch Daredevil because I really liked Daredevil.
Won't take long. Okay, next. Infernal torrent. Burn. That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
Well, no, wasn't. Hold on. Was it Richter? Oh, Trevor. It was Trevor. Yeah, I guess I did skip Simon. We got, well, I mean, they could always go back. There's nothing saying that they couldn't do a Simon series. I'm willing to bet, though, that likely, if they're going in a certain timeline, we'll probably see something more based on Symphony of the Night next than anything else.
Won't take long. Okay, infernal torrent. Infernal torrent. No one can stand before my blade. Won't take long. Draw. Next. Burn. That was hardly.
And like I said, I need to finish Nocturne Season 2. I started it, but I haven't finished it.
Won't take long. Okay.
Also, I don't know if you caught, in
Infernal torrent.
Series 1,
It will take more than that to stand in our way.
so in Castlevania Series 1, they teased something with Saint Germain. So when they were looking through all the different doors and realities, one of the characters it shows was actually an X-Men character that was created by one of the guys involved in Castlevania.
Won't take long. Okay. Burn. That was hardly worth
So,
dirtying my blade.
in some weird way, X-Men are canonical to Castlevania.
Won't take long. Draw. You won't live. Infernal torrent. Infernal torrent. Burn. Let's keep moving.
I need to get back on my anime game, man. There's some animes I want to jump into. Some stuff that I've never watched that's been out for a minute that I've kind of want to watch.
take long. Okay. Infernal torrent. We won't.
Yeah, isn't Juice the old man in the second series?
This won't take long. Draw. Next. That was hardly worth dirtying my blade. This won't take long. Draw. Next. Victory is ours.
Yeah, so I don't want to spoil anything.
Won't take long. Draw. Infernal torrent. That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
I've watched like four episodes of season 2 so far.
Stay sharp, even against
You won't live to victory is ours.
Oh, well, I mean, Juice plays a bigger role in the second half of Nocturne than he did when Richter went to get his magic back.
That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
Titles as well. Alright, so now we're on to Lord of Loot. I had to go back and get into Castlevania lore a bit more. I'm pretty far behind.
Worth dirtying my blade.
It's been a while since I sat down and like hyper focused Castlevania stuff.
stay sharp, even against
Infernal torrent. That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
But I saw on Netflix they have
This won't take long.
and now I'm blanking. It's a mech anime that I wanted to watch because I've never seen it. And then I also want to check out on Crunchyroll. They have
even against chumps.
a series. It's an Aseki
Dirtying my blade.
with a Red Ranger getting teleported to this other world and being the Red Ranger in this new fantasy world. I think I missed the most of what CV1 did with this presentation as a horror movie. Yeah? I mean, yeah.
That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
I miss some of the more, like, badass kind of thing, like, kind of situations. Like, one of the best moments in a lot of shows was the opening of the first series for Castlevania, where they're burning Alucard's mom at the stake, and the priest is like, "You are an abomination before God," and Dracula basically appears in the flames and was like, "You make God vomit." Like, that was one of the best fucking lines. Like, it's so badass.
This won't take long. Draw. Victory is ours.
I also would love to see Clive Barker explore some of his stuff in an animated platform.
Fail.
Oh yeah, he did. He was a piece of shit.
Stay sharp, even against
Infernal torrent. Let's keep moving.
But like watching Castlevania and just how fucking sick that was, like I want to see Clive Barker like bring Hellraiser back to life, like animated, because there's a lot to explore in that universe that we've never really seen other than like in short stories and comics. I would also love to see Clive Barker do some of his other stories, like Imagika, Thief of Always. Like, the dude has some really cool fantasy, like dark fantasy stuff that would be awesome to see animated. I've been trying to get back into reading, so I've started reading some stuff. And I picked up a couple books I have from a guy named Brom, who basically has done like dark fantasy retellings of some fairy tales. So like the one book I first picked up was called The Child Thief, and it's very heavy in like fae and like folklore, like fae folklore, and very dark retelling of Peter Pan. That shit's wild. I'm also reading a book called Butcher Bird, which is kind of like a hidden world sort of book. This guy basically gets attacked by a demon outside of a bar, and that attack kind of like woke him up to the fact that like there's more to his reality than like what it seems. And I left off, him and his crew were like traveling into the underworld to get this tome for someone that's probably going to double cross them. And there's these dudes that are supposed to like keep balance and order in the universe, and they like go around like collecting body parts from people as like a payment. Very weird book, but very, very cool. And I would love to see stuff like that, like get like an animated series treatment. Sandman Slim is another one. Sandman Slim is basically like John Wick meets Harry Potter, or like in a way, but darker. This dude is a magician, kind of just like a end of his rope, like gritty kind of guy, like dive bar sort of dude, and he ends up getting double crossed, and in everything that goes down, he ends up getting sent to hell, but he's not dead, he's still alive. So when he finally like crawls his way back out of hell and comes back to the earth, like he kind of has like powers and stuff, and you know, he has magic and stuff, and he ends up going after the people who trapped him in hell, largely because he found out that like they were responsible for the death of his girlfriend. Dude, those books are so fucking cool, just the way that they presented everything. And then like this other book that the same guy wrote, called The Everything Box, is about, again, it's like one of those hidden world books, but it's like a heist novel, and the dude is like a master thief, and he works with this like organization that like investigates paranormal stuff and like tries to keep the world of the paranormal and the world of like humans and stuff separate. And all of these people are chasing down this box that an angel dropped during the flood, that basically like inside of this box, or no, and that like when the box is open it will like end the world and stuff. And it turns out that like the way everything goes down in this book, the dude, like the main dude of the book, ends up with the deed to Earth. Like very funny, very fun, just kind of like a stupid book, but that's what I'm into these days, is weird kind of like horror fantasy stuff.
This won't take long. Draw. You won't live. Let's keep moving.
Do 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 do.
This won't take long. Okay, next. You won't live to regret Infernal Torrent. That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
I should get back to reading. Haven't done that in ages. Dude, if you're in the same avenue that I'm at for books, man, I can suggest some. I've got a ton of books that I've read recently that I thought were just fucking awesome. So
Let's keep moving.
John dies at the end. If you must watch the movie, it's a fucking weird movie. Kind of spicy in some areas, so be careful. You know, like watching it, but it very kind of dumb humor and stuff. Very weird, very kind of like existential and surreal and whatnot. But the book, the John Dies at the End books, I've read all of them and fucking loved them. Like I couldn't put those books down. Like I would start reading, and then I would go to bed, and then when my partner fell asleep, I would get up, and then I would read for like 3 or 4 more hours. Like I just read and read and read. Okay, so now we can go back up to Shockwave Slash and see if we can get the title for that. You have to be into weird for John Dies at the End, I think. Creepypastas. There was a time where like I used to read a lot of creepypastas. And some of them got turned into books, and I actually need to sit down and read it. But there's one called Pen Pal. It was one of the most fucked up creepypastas I've ever read, and I want to see just how crazy the book is compared to the actual creepypasta.
Stay sharp, even against chumps.
That was hardly worth dirtying my blade. This won't take long. Okay, next slash. You won't live
Yeah, I used to read a lot of No Sleep. I used to love No Sleep. No Sleep, and then I used to read just creepypasta, some SCP stuff. My problem with SCP is like there's really good like creepy and like weird and like really cool SCPs. Like one of my favorite SCPs is actually a character. I've actually like created a character in like the Singularity universe of that SCP, and in its factory, and it's based off of like the very first SCP, so like 001, I think. It's one of the files in that SCP document. And so like I love some SCP stuff, and then there's other SCP stuff that I think is just like there's some of the dumbest stuff in there. Like, oh, this is the haunted corn on the cob. If you touch it, you'll want corn up your butt for the rest of your life. Like, they never should have opened it up to like anybody can just create an SCP. Like they really should have had, I think, some better standards for SCP creation, because like after the initial batch, like after the first kind of like wave, and they started getting higher and higher and higher into numbers, it just started getting like worse and worse and worse. So I'm mixed. I'm very mixed on SCP. Like there's some that I think are absolutely fucking amazing and I love them, and then there's some that I look at and I'm like, I wish I could punch this person.
Victory is ours.
And I'm sure somebody's already created it. I'm sure that it's out there. But I have an SCP for story like that I want, and I've been trying to think of like what kind of story I can write it into. But basically, it's a demon. It's like a symbiotic demon that forms a bond with whoever it ends up in contact with, but it's sentient. So it's not just like parasitic. It's kind of like Venom in a way, but it takes the form of a tattoo on the person that it bonds with, and then that tattoo can turn into basically any weapon that the person could imagine. In terms of like, how would I put that? Like combat, or not combat, but like swords and like stabs and stuff like that. Like it turns into those, but it cannot. And you know, obviously, like they could use it as a shield if they want, or you know, fist weapons. But it can't turn into like a gun or like a bow and arrow.
We won't
and it's kind of an asshole. So like, yeah, it forms a bond with you, and you know you can work with it and use it, but it will also just be a sarcastic ass to you and talk a lot of shit.
This won't take long. Okay, Slash! We won't fail.
And not anybody can like. But the ink is in their blood. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, that's. I first read about it like in a book. There's a book called The Black Tattoo that is kind of like that. Like the dude ends up with this marking, this tattoo marking, and it slowly starts to like corrupt him. And there's martial arts and stuff to it, and like keeping balance and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of where I originally like saw the idea and started to try and build off the idea in a different way. I don't want it to be like Venom though, like absolutely do not want it to be like Venom. And one of the things that like I thought when I started writing it and started like trying to flesh it out is that it like so when I was first trying to write it out, it was actually in a project that a friend of mine and I were working on that involved the holders, the holders SCPs. The dude who created the holders, before they did like all their revamp and they've changed everything, we got permission from him to kind of like use that stuff to try and like build out this story. So like the whole idea is that like it ties into the holders and like what they do and the destruction that they bring with them, and it is technically a holder item. And the person who ends up with it has to be chosen by it, and they have to, have already encountered another holder item. And then this tattoo kind of seeks them out, and they can kind of like hear it calling to them, and that's kind of how it like all breaks down. Unfortunately, the project kind of like fell apart, but I do have an idea of a story. Bits and pieces of like what I would call the holder wars, where these different people have these different objects, and those objects are represented by different emotions and kind of like gods in a way, and they bring calamity with them. And it's very like Fate Stay Night, where like the people who have these items are going to kind of like end up going up against these emotions and stuff. And I have to sit down and flesh it out more. It's one of those like I can't sleep at night, so I think about these sort of things like stories, and it's very, very weird.
Stay sharp, even against Chuck.
Blow 'em down. Victory is ours. This won't take long. Okay, blow 'em down.
I have like 4 or 5 different like files of just stuff that I like am writing down as ideas.
Stay sharp, even against Chuck.
Yeah, I have Word documents that I like when I give an idea, I like type it into and like write it down. The most fleshed out one, I think the one that I've done the most kind of like tying stuff into has been the Henshin one. I'm trying to like write stuff out for that, and adapting the Henshin stuff that I did on on TPK into more of a novel, because I do have a story that I do want to tell with those characters and with like Henshin. So that's the one that's most fleshed out. Then the next one that I've put a lot of ideas into is basically the story of like this girl, and she's just getting out of a bad relationship. So she's left town. She's trying to head home, and she's on the road home, and she ends up in this town that's not on a map, and the town is alive. So the town, I guess in a way you could see like the town is an SCP. And so she ends up in this town after getting out of this relationship, and she slowly starts to realize that she can't leave. And that's about the extent of that one that I've got written down. Like, there's ideas there, like, she starts to notice things about the town that, like, people are like on repeat. So like she'll like she slowly starts to notice that like the fast food restaurant, when she leaves, like the people don't move, like the people in the restaurant don't move, and slowly she starts to see like the people on the street kind of like recurring and like repeating, or like they're on a loop, or like a carousel and stuff. So there's some ideas there, but I really have to like, one, stop being lazy. Like that's the biggest problem, is I have to stop being lazy and like really flesh those stories out. And two, I had to figure out like how I want to tell those stories. Like some stuff I want to just write as a book, but other stuff I think is presented better in another medium. If I could, like, I would absolutely film. Like I'd write movies, but I'm not entirely great at script writing. When it comes to film, I'm like an audio and a like film editor sort of person. I can storyboard decently, but like script writing, I'm fucking rubbish.
No one can stand before my blade.
And then of course, when I'm really like, to kind of like get myself back into writing, I started doing something really fucking dumb. I don't know if I've sent it to you. I don't know if you've seen it floating around on Twitter. But I have a Papa Smurf account on Twitter, and I'm slowly rewriting 50 Shades of Grey, but as a Smurf. You can start off short, like a Monster of the Week type thing, make it fun while slowly building the story. Yeah, that actually is not a bad idea. So with Henshin, like with Henshin, I can definitely like break down like where I'm at with Henshin. We have the three characters. We have Zarka, we have Vance, we have Jace, who were like the three kind of like original characters. Where the story kind of starts off is Zarka has been having reoccurring dreams, and those dreams are of when she was, you know, part of the team with Jace and Vance. And all she thinks of is like that they're dreams. She doesn't realize that like this is something that happened in another timeline and in like another reality. And then slowly, like, she notices that, like, Jace, like, she knows who Jace is, but Jace isn't someone that goes to her school, and that's kind of weird. And then she meets up with Killian, who is another character who will have the Henshin a bit, like, who will be part of her team. And eventually Vance and they meet up with you know, the team comes together. I don't know that I'll do it in the same way that I did originally, but the team will come together, and they will kind of be up against Void Inc. And Void Inc. is kind of a newer idea. It's something that has kind of come up more recently, but Void Inc. is a huge like corporation, but it's not really. It's so their little town, first these purple flowers kind of just like show up at the outskirts of town, and there's like this ring of like purple flowers, kind of like it's been like planted, like someone planted it, and it's rings slowly, and in the middle is a giant like purple flower. And over time that purple flower turned into just like this giant building. And it's Eldritch gods who are coming in and basically trying to corrupt the world. And through their trying to corrupt the world, they've also kind of kick-started the Singularity. So the reason why Zarka is having those dreams and everything is kind of off and recurring for her is because in bringing themselves into one reality, they've collapsed all realities, so all realities are becoming a single point, and It's slowly changing the world, and then I think as I finish that story, like I could branch off into other stories within that world, because part of my idea is to build the world and the changes in the world. So like for us in the United States, when the singularity happens, some of the changes, like they call Vegas Sin City. Like Vegas is called Sin City. It's its nickname. It's kind of like, oh, you're going to Sin City, huh? So Vegas actually becomes like, one, it's always night in Vegas after this happens. After the singularity happens, it's always night for some reason. Nobody can figure out like why. And Vegas is pretty much populated by like demons and vampires and other monsters and stuff like that. And then other places, like have changes. Like some of the bigger cities start having more and more superheroes. Some of the other cities end up with other henshin teams, so that I can build out on that. And so I have like a universe planned, like, and I know how I would write that universe. It's just a matter of I gotta stop being lazy. I really do. Like I have stuff for like Zarka's character written out. So when we first started Henshin, Zarka's character, Meg's character Zarka, was very much based off of Medusa, and the idea was that she was going to be, this artist sort of situation with Medusa. But I think as I'm writing this out, some of the stuff I'm going to do is change how the characters are as Henshin. So this team of Henshin is going to be very much based off of the Zodiac. And I think one of the things that they will basically end up contending with as they are trying to figure out like what's going on with Void Inc. is they will very much be contending with like the idea of the Dark Zodiac. So they'll be going up against, these demonic, eldritch, evil forms of like Sagittarius and Virgo and things like that. And the reason why, like one of the reasons why Zarka kind of like relives realities or like relives days and stuff like that is because Zarka's symbol is the Ouroboros, or the snake, which if you want to like get into weird like astrology stuff, technically there is a 13th astrological sign. People were losing their minds about it for a little while, and that astrological sign was the snake. So I was gonna kind of like write it about like the Ouroboros, constantly like rewriting and beginning anew, and that's kind of like a theme for that character. And part of like how I do this and like get ideas for some of the stuff that I've been writing is actually through a lot of the music that I listen to. So like the first page, and kind of like the first chapter, the quote before we get into the story is from a band called Hot Milk, one of my all-time favorite bands lately. They are a UK kind of like pop punk band, and so the very first thing for like Zarka is I tried breathing underwater, but cracked under the pressure and nearly bled out. You said you'd always save me, but where are you now? And it'll like open. So after that, like after the quote, it'll open up like, you said you'd always save me, but where are you now? It will open with like Zarka basically like in a dream, like seeing Vance kind of like walk away, like kind of like leaving through a portal, and Jace falling into a void, and that kind of thing. And Jace does, like, when Jace comes back, he is the Eldritch Ranger. He's Henshin, but like he gets his powers from a deal that he made with these Eldritch gods and stuff. So yeah, or Ficulus or something like that. Yeah, the serpent. Yeah, I remember people like losing their minds. They're like, there ain't no way like my kid will ever be born under this, and it's evil and all this stuff. And I was like, well, y'all need to calm down. I remember, dude, man, if we could go back to 2012, where like every other week someone was telling me that the Mayans predicted that the world was ending, like all through 2012, I was like, yay, the world's over. I wake up the next day and I'm like, hey, guess the Mayans were wrong. big problem I have too, though, is like I write my ideas down and I sort them out because I want to like do this. But I have like ADHD, like ADHD brain a lot. So like I'll start doing something and then while I'm focused on that, I'll be like, oh no, you know what? I need to go do this, and then I will like pivot hard and just like hard focus something else, and then completely forget about what I was doing. And then by the time I remember, like, oh, I need to go do this, I've already moved on to like 3 other things, and then I'm like, oh shit, like, do I really need to go back to like? It happens with games a lot. It's kind of why my stream died originally, is because I could not focus on one game. I was like, ooh, I want to play this, and then I would jump to something else, so I just didn't have that consistency. And it's something that I'm trying to get better at. Not that like a lot of people know, I was diagnosed with an anxiety disorder. So I do have an anxiety disorder that also comes with self-harm or suicidal ideations. And so some of that, it really kind of like affects how I focus on things. And I've started to notice it more in the recent couple years as I've, got the diagnosis than I did before. And I don't have medication, like I'm unmedicated. So it's not like being treated. I'm really just trying to, like, I guess, manage it on my own. I have a very weird thing about like taking medicine, especially from like how I grew up. Like one of the things my mom was dead set against was like medicating us. So to be honest, like I'm kind of proud of myself, and I'm a little surprised at myself as well. Excuse me, that I have kept to this fucking grinding out titles for as long as I have, because like at a certain point I have like kind of been fighting it off. I would have been like, you know what, fuck it, I just want to like move on with this game, or I've been like, you know what, fuck it, I've spent too much time doing this, I'm gonna go find something else to do. So I'm really like been pushing myself to kind of like get out of that mindset.
Let's keep moving.
Stay sharp, even against
That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
I hear it with the stutter, but it's all good. I was debating on antidepressants for a very long time, but I hunkered down on learning stuff to push through. Yeah, like that's something I've been trying to do. As a kid, it's not something I really knew that I had. Like in school, I would get in trouble a lot because like I couldn't sit still. Like I would like get up and walk around the classrooms and stuff, and so I would get yelled at a lot in elementary school. And so like I learned to move at my desk. So like I shake my legs. Or I bounce, and people have kind of like pointed out, like, oh, why are you bouncing? Like, are you okay? Or, like, some people have tried to kind of like, for lack of better terms, like pass off the fact that like I bounce around a lot because of like the anxiety and the ADD and stuff as me being like mentally unstable, and like kind of like one person basically said like I was retarded because I bounce around a lot. But it's just like how I learned to kind of like control that like urge to like get up and like run around the room or like walk around the room so I wouldn't get in trouble. So yeah, like if I'm like, even when I'm on stream, like I get conscious of it, I'm like, oh, I'm moving around a little bit, like I need to chill. And that's how I've learned to handle it without medication, I guess, is the best way I can explain that.
stay sharp, even against giants.
That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, I guess restless leg syndrome. Like, I'm always moving.
Before my blade.
I'll be like playing games on the PlayStation, like on the couch, and I bounce along as I'm playing the games. Like, I'm just, my mom calls me Tigger because I'm never still.
That was hardly worth dirtying my blade. This won't take long. You won't lift your moon down. Victory is ours. This won't take long. Moon down. That was hardly
So,
worth
the
dirtying
only way
my
I don't
blade.
move is with games are drawing. I think the only time, and even then, I probably just don't notice it. The only time I think I like really sit still is like when I'm at a movie,
That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
like in an actual movie theater. And even then, like I'm probably like shaking my leg or like moving my leg.
Stay sharp, even against chumps.
Moon down. That was hardly worth dirtying my blade. This won't take long. Okay. Moon down. Moon down. That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
The worst though, the worst part of like always like constantly moving is so I took my A plus test, which is, oh no, you're good, dude. No worries. Fucking Moogles, like, oh man, let's see if we can do this. Like a Moogle?
This won't take long. Okay. That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
Fucking love Moogles. Oh, I was saying like one of the hardest parts about like the always moving for me.
We won't fail.
I took the A plus exam, the Net plus exam, and the Security plus exam. And holy fuck. Trying to sit through those exams and like you have to stay within a certain like parameter of the camera, otherwise they think you're like talking to somebody or cheating in some way is the fucking worst. Taking certification exams remotely in that kind of manner fucking sucks. He's a Final Fantasy fan and he's trying to sell stuff on Second Life. People still, I shouldn't be surprised. They are a customer. I have responded to support tickets from Second Life. I did not know. Like, I was actually pretty surprised to find out that Second Life was still a thing.
Won't take long. Okay. That was
Does he make good money on it? Like, are people like is it Second Life money, or is it like, does he make like actual money? Because I remember like back in the day, like people were selling like real estate and shit on fucking Second Life.
dirtying my blade.
If he wants his profile, dude, that's fucking cool. That's fucking cool. Yeah, proctor exams with cams suck. They're fucking the worst.
Won't take long.
And Second Life money. He wants to eventually turn into real money. He's just starting.
Dirtying my blade.
Nice.
Stay sharp, even against chumps.
That was hardly worth dirtying.
I think I'm gonna start streaming Second Life. I'm gonna start a Second Life Smurf fetish bar. $5 cover charge. Everybody needs to be dressed in blue or have a Smurf avatar.
Worth dirtying my blade.
Stay sharp, even against chumps.
Moon down. That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
How many times will we use this? 377. We're just about halfway.
That was hardly
We're gonna start a Smurf fetish bar on Second Life. Everybody has to either be dressed in blue and white. Only place to allow movies. Or they have to have a Smurf avatar. All of the TVs, yeah, we'll have Eiffel 65 blaring on the for the dance floor. There'll be VIP rooms, and in all the VIP rooms, we'll only be playing the original Smurfs cartoon, not the Smurfs movies. And then there'll be a secret, like, VIP, kind of like speakeasy, where everybody who comes in gets to sit down and watch Life with Louie.
This won't take long. Yes, slow him down. Victory is ours. This won't take long. Okay, next. You won't live to crash. That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
Oh, and it's gonna be run. And it's gonna be run with run by Don Knotts. So Don Knotts is gonna be like the what you call it, bartender, like, and all the bouncers will be Don Knotts avatars.
We won't fail. That was
The only things, like, I really know about Second Life is people, like, for a while people were making, like, pretty good money, like, selling, like, houses and, like, real estate and stuff like that. And
let's keep moving.
like and that was like early on in Second Life. I want to say like that was like early 2000s Second Life. And then I remember like reading people would like get on Second Life and role play like that they were in prison, and like their whole gameplay was them like trying to like live life as a prisoner in a Second Life like penitentiary. And then I thought Half-Life had like died. Like I thought it was done, or Half-Life Second Life. I thought Second Life was done. And what, a year ago, two years ago, we actually like got a ticket in from the company that owns Second Life. They use the software Parsec, and so I was like, wait, what the fuck? So I had to go look, and sure enough, yeah, Second Life is still a thing, and they are Parsec Unity customers. It's pretty fucking wild.
No one can stand before my blade.
Stay sharp, even against chumps.
Slow him down. No one
The
can
RP
stand
community
before
is
my
worse than
blade.
living in forums. The RP, like, I don't know, man. I think someone could like, I think if there was like, because I've never actually looked if there's like an actual like Second Life like stream, like people are actually streaming Second Life. But I bet like if there's not like a huge community and you could find someone like really good at like the RP side of Second Life, they could blow up. Like we could start seeing Second Life on the front page of Twitch.
That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
Dude, people, I will say right now, I think that's just RP communities in general, because, like, I love playing WoW. I refuse to ever start a character on an RP server on WoW. Like, the RP server and RP communities on WoW are so fucking, like, hardcore and, like, die hard that it takes the fun out of it.
Stay sharp, even against chumps.
Slow him down.
Also, they get fucking weird. And there are people who, like, die hard, love to roleplay as the Scarlet Crusade in World of Warcraft, and the Scarlet Crusade are basically, like, the Nazis of World of Warcraft. So it's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Stay sharp, even against
Victory is ours.
Stay sharp, even against
Slow 'em down. Let's keep moving.
Same with like Sims RPers. Man, Sims RPers weird me out. Like I used to have fun with the Sims. Was a fun game back in the day, but man, Sims RPers weird me out. RP really does take a deep dive into the most messed up things. I agree. Like it gets fucking weird.
That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
Stay sharp, even against
Slow 'em down. Let's keep moving.
I had a buddy who did Grand Theft Auto RP for a while. Grand Theft Auto RP community is also kind of a toxic, die-hard toxic community, but I guess that's to be expected when it's Grand Theft Auto.
Stay sharp, even against
Slow 'em down. Victory is ours.
Stay sharp, even against
Slow 'em down. We won't fail.
Stay sharp, even
I've seen Smurf RP communities.
That was hardly
I've
worth dirtying my
seen
blade.
Harry Potter RP communities.
stay sharp, even against
Slow 'em down. That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
Yeah, I don't see the appeal to it. Had to make emotes for one guy that had his RP channel. It was pretty cringe, if I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, like for me, like yeah, I would say the GTA RP is probably one of the cringiest I've seen. I don't know that I've ever actually like watched or seen like any legit like Second Life RP, but like some of the other RPs that I've seen for like The Sims, like Sims RP, super cringe. Grand Theft Auto RP, super cringe.
We won't fail.
stay sharp, even against
We won't fail.
My Little Pony RP, super cringe.
This won't take long. That was hardly worth dirtying my blade. This won't take long. Okay, next. That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
And like things like My Little Pony, like My Little Pony, I remember My Little Pony like the 90s. My Little Pony I think was a product of the 80s. Like My Little Pony got like mad fans. Like people started RP communities, you got bronies, you got things like that. Why wasn't where's the gem and the hologram RPers? Like why did we have bronies but we don't have like gems? I guess because people would associate gems nowadays with Steven Universe, but like we should have gotten some holograms. Where's the holograms?
This won't take long.
Guilty confession, I was a brony because I found out that it was created by Lauren Faust back in, and she's married to Craig McCracken, who made Powerpuff Girls and Foster's Home. I mean, like, I'm not gonna shit on fucking My Little Pony fans. Like, the Gem movie did bomb because the Gem movie was not. There's good reason for that, probably. It was not a good movie. It was no Josie and the Pussycats, that's for sure. Like, I'm not gonna shit on bronies, but, like, there's definitely, like, there's like, chill brony, and then there's, like, a level of fucking cringe brony. And I think, like all communities, you know, like, you have to, like, take the community as a, like, look at the community overall, and not just, like, look at the weird minority that tends to, you know, come into a movie. Like, recently I have come across, because I'm a Transformers fan. Like, I used to love Transformers as a kid, and there's stuff for Transformers that I still followed, like the comics and stuff like that. And so I recently, like, was looking at, like, Transformers communities and stuff, and I came across a Transformers community where people are, like, shipping Transformers together sexually, and it's very fucking weird. And they have kind of, like, leaked out. The community made a decent fighting game. Them's Fighting Herds. I have it. It's a fucking cool game.
That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
Yeah, Them's Fighting Herds was, like, when I saw it, I was like, what the hell is this? And then, like, I sat down and I was like, oh, this game is, no, it's a fucking dope game. Like, that game was sick.
Victory is ours.
And, like, you know, like I'm saying, like, there's definite, like, there's, like, oh yeah, man, I could identify with, like, being a brony, or, like, yeah, I'm a brony. And then there's, like, I'm a brony, yeah, like, fucking weirdo dudes who, like, took this show and, like, sexualized it, and it's like, why? Why did you do that?
That was hardly worth dirtying my blade. It won't take long. Draw. You won't live.
Yeah, no, like, I used to troll those dudes, and it was not, I was not the nicest in those trollings. I was pretty fucking mean to those weirdos.
Let's keep moving.
But, like, I don't see anything wrong with being a fan of My Little Pony. I don't see anything being wrong with being a fan of, you know, fucking Foster's Home. I fucking love Foster's Home. Or Powerpuff Girls. I do not like the new age Powerpuff Girls. I don't know what the fuck they did to Powerpuff Girls, but I tried watching, like, the new, like, reboot of Powerpuff Girls, and I fucking hate it.
It won't take long. Okay. That was hardly worth dirtying my blade. It won't take long. Okay.
Dude, that's cool. That'll be sick.
My blade. It won't take long. Draw. You won't live to- That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
Is he gonna, like, put it on, like, shirts and stuff, and then, like, sell those shirts in game, or is it gonna be, like, art for people's houses? Like, what is his plan for, like, selling the stuff in game? 18,000? Holy shit!
Roll down. Victory is ours.
Stay sharp,
small assets for oh, okay.
We won't fail.
Are they doing like all like materia bangles? Ah, so they're doing like Final Fantasy 7, or is it like all Final Fantasies? Like you're gonna have like Cloud kicking it with Zidane, or are we looking at like fucking Final Fantasy Tactics where they're all just, or not Tactics, like yeah. So I guess like Dissidia, like the Final Fantasy Dissidia games. You can add a dialogue box for descriptions. Nice.
This won't take long. Draw. Slow down. We won't fail.
We have picked a title, or I am farming a title that I don't think I will even. It'll take me multiple days to finish this title. It needs 18,000 SP.
That was hardly worth.
That's 180 battles, roughly.
Stay sharp, even against
Okay, mow 'em down. You mow 'em down. Victory is ours. This won't take long. Okay. That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
I'm also kind of tempted to like
Won't take long.
push this character to level 99, because I've read on one end that the max level is 99 for the main game, and that you can only push towards 200 after in like this in like the after game dungeon.
Victory is ours.
But I'm curious if that's true, or if you can actually hit 200 before that point.
This won't take
But I do think I will likely have most of the titles finished before I ever get anywhere close to that. I'm level 42 now.
Stay sharp, even against
That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
And we say like all Final Fantasy. We're talking like all Final Fantasies, so even the bad ones.
This won't take long. Okay, you won't live to regret this. Next, that was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
Stay sharp, even against
Mow 'em down. We won't fail.
Yeah, I guess that would be all of them, because even the ones that were not great are still moderately popular. So people still love 10-2, people still love 13, people still love 15.
Stay sharp, even against chumps.
Flash. That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
Yeah.
Did we get carried away? Stay sharp, even against chumps.
Mow 'em down. Flash. No one can stand before my blade.
Stay sharp, even against chumps.
You won't live. That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
What? No, somebody just gone live. I think it's halfway done. Nice.
Stay sharp, even against chumps.
Flash. No one can stand
Let's see,
before
where
my
are we
blade.
at title-wise on this? I'm gonna check now. Oh, well, I mean, we're getting there. And then we've got that. So we need that one. That one will give us Phantom Pulse. That one will give us Phantom Pulse. That one will give us nothing. And that one gives us 1 minute flash.
Stay sharp, even against chumps.
We won't fail.
I'm gonna go ahead and like download the VODs for me freaking doing this so that I can edit stuff together and put it on YouTube.
Hardly worth dirtying my blade.
That way I can say that I did all of the titles that I could before ever actually progressing the game.
This won't take long. Okay, roll down. Smash. That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
All we did is talk about cartoons and nerd stuff. It's all I'm here for. Grinding out and talking nerd stuff.
This won't take long. Okay, you won't miss that. Let's keep moving.
I do need to actually look up because I have all of these items. So, like, a 12 item set for your dualizing pleasure. Use them to whip up a variety of new items. Like, all these, like, clothes, like, super growth set, gel set, quick costume. Begin your adventure with 1,000 gold of pocket money. Get out of here. But, like, there's all of these. No, I don't want the attachments. Double skill points. Chain capacity, maximum HP plus 1,000. Like all these like extra like sets that I don't really know like what's the point, but there's like these skits, and I don't know if like watching these skits will get me titles, or if it's just like, oh, these are skits. And I did not see that like when I bought this version that it also had all of this gold. And I'm wondering if I should use these or if I should just keep going. A 7-person set of titles that you can earn by finishing a foe after a one-hit combo 3 times. Jesus Christ. A set of 6 strange and wondrous materials that you can dualize with certain weapons. A handy set of spellbooks with effects like reducing damage you take by half. A set of high-quality foods that can either be set to the Elf Mixer or eaten. Like, I don't know what any of these are. I don't know if I should do them or like if I would get titles from these, or like I need to research all of that, and I don't know if I should like unlock this gold because it's 369. That's 1,200,000 gold right there. And then if I can figure out a way to spend it in the store, then I can like unlock other titles. And like I'm sitting at 46,000 gold right now, and I need to get the freaking dude to like level 6 on the stamp card to unlock the weapons that I need so that I can like grind those titles. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure if I should use those items or not.
No one can stand before my blade. This won't take long. Okay, mow him down. You won't mow him down. That was hardly worth dirtying my blade. Let's keep moving.
Nerd stuff. What else do we got in the world of nerd stuff? I saw all the Sonic movies. I actually enjoyed them. It's kind of wild that like the best video game adaptations we've gotten in a live action movie have been Sonic.
This won't take long. Drop. Moon down. We won't fail.
And 1 and 2 on DVD. Haven't really watched them yet. Dude, if you haven't watched them, you gotta check them out. Like, if you can put time aside to sit down and binge them, you'll have fun. Like, they're very fun movies.
That was hardly worth dirtying
But I'm
my
happy
blade.
we bullied a studio to do justice and fix this design. I am glad that they did fix this design. We got a much better looking Sonic. They definitely took those words to heart.
We won't
I'm also very glad that they didn't, turn around and go, hey, guess who's gonna, voice Sonic? It's Chris Pratt. There was a while where Chris Pratt was being put into fucking everything.
That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
I will say though, like people were very kind of negative about the Super Mario movie, the animated one. That movie was fun.
That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
Oh, dude, yeah, Knuckles is one of the best parts of Sonic 2 and Sonic 3.
Stay sharp, even against jump left.
We won't fail.
I don't know that I have a specific Sonic character. You want to talk about another fan base that gets weird and cringe? It's the Sonic fan base.
My blade.
It's a film. I don't know what they were expecting. It's a video game movie with minimal substance, but I genuinely liked it. The Mario movie? Oh, dude, I thought the Mario movie was fucking hilarious. I thought it was a lot of fun. And I think the Luma Lee was the best fucking character in that entire movie.
This won't take long. Okay. Moon down. That was hardly worth dirtying my
The fan has the fan base chilled over the years? Because for a while that fan base was getting kind of rowdy, and I just looked at it and went, okay, I'm gonna move on now. I don't know that I have a specific favorite Sonic character. I think there's a number of really cool characters. I personally would love to see, was it Biggs the Cat show up in the movies? We've got Sonic, we've got Knuckles, we got Tails, we got Shadow.
No one can stand my blade.
It's not as cringe to Sonic as it was back then. Fair enough. I don't think I've ever really played a lot of the Sonic games. I played Sonic Pinball. I used to play Sonic Pinball a lot. And Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine a lot. I played Sonic 1 and 2, and I played Sonic and Knuckles. I spent more time on
We won't fail.
Team Chaotic. That'd be cool. Not Spinball? No? That's near the worst? I don't know, man. I played what I played, and that was so. I never played Sonic Riders, which was on the GameCube, I think. That game always looked pretty cool. It looks like they might be bringing some of that back in the next Sonic Team Racing game, which would be kind of sick.
You won't. Let's keep moving.
I didn't play any of the Game Boy Advance or DS ones.
This won't take long.
But I did play
Dirtying my blade.
Sonic Battle, so Sonic Adventure 2, the one on the GameCube. but mostly for the Chow Garden. Like, that's all I really wanted to do was the Chow Garden.
It won't take long. That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
Inverted Rush and Rush Adventure on the DS is a refresher. Okay.
Stay sharp, even against jump.
That was hardly
Frontiers looked cool. I don't know that I'll ever... I probably won't play it, but it looks interesting. The fact that Sega's like making a comeback with games is pretty cool. Like I'm stoked to see Crazy Taxi come back. But what I've heard about how it's going to be like an online sort of situation. Oh, you're good. Don't worry about it, dude. You knock that Moogle out. I am here every night, so I will. We can sit and chat, and you can do whatever, and I'm not going nowhere. Doesn't mess up anything with microtransactions. Yeah. We want to talk about a plague on gaming. That's everybody is always arguing back and forth about, you know, what's a fucking problem in gaming. All these dumbasses constantly harassing developers and saying stupid shit and crying about DEI ruined gaming when they really should be focused on fucking the actual problem with gaming. Everything being live service and everything being fucking bogged down with microtransactions.
Stay sharp, even against jump.
That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
Stay sharp, even against jump.
You won't live to regret it. Slash! We won't fail.
I just want to finish product with 1 or 2 updates minimum. That is absolutely reasonable. I really do think that the whole like the idea of like games as a service and like the games having to be like a live service constantly on product has killed gaming in a way. Any DLC can be done in a sequel. Yeah.
It won't take long. You won't live. Slash! That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
The thing that I worry about now, the one thing that I think is not going to be great for gaming, and I think we'll probably hit like a point where we start to see it more prevalently like being utilized. Is I do think that like these companies that are trying to focus on like having AI assist with writing and developing their games, we're going to see a sharp decline in quality.
Stay sharp, even against jump.
Slow him down. Let's keep moving.
There's a lot of hills that I will die on. Like, I will
Take long.
go to my grave telling people that Tim Allen
Let's keep moving.
is a murderer. It's not gonna work. They'll flop even if they want to QA. They won't be able to fix shoddy writing. True.
It won't take long. We won't fail.
But it's gonna be one of those. It's gonna be an era of gaming that like we have to push through. For a long time, a lot of companies wanted to try and do what Epic has done, and they wanted to try and build a multiverse. There was a lot of companies that wanted to build out, oh, we're going to build multiverses, and we're going to have digital twins, and we're going to have this whole Ready Player One sort of universe of our games. And that is kind of where we got to where we're at now, where everything was a live service. Everything had to be live all the time. And they always had to have constant, non-stop updates of content. And you know, that's kind of how they shot themselves in the foot, because they couldn't keep up with it. And you know, they got over-ambitious instead of just making a game that people would want to play. And I think AI will have that same effect. They're going to buy into it because it's the hot tech buzzword right now. They're going to try and use it. We're going to get a number of games pushed out with AI backing. People are going to play them. People are going to hate them. The market is going to tank for a while. And then companies are going to realize, oh, maybe this wasn't it. Google Portrait is done? Hell yeah.
No one can stand before my blade.
Stay sharp, even against
We won't fail.
If I knew more about game development, I would make a game. I have an idea for a game. It's very dumb. I'm sure people would get offended by it, but I want to make a game kind of like the classic Outrun. So like that classic Sega, you know, you're driving in like the Ferrari game. So like I want to make a game in the style of Outrun, so the art style of Outrun, where you're in a car and you're speeding along the highway or the city streets, whatever, and the entire goal is just to build up a chain of asses smacked. So you'll have like the passenger leaning out of the passenger window to smack pedestrian and cyclists' asses, and your whole goal is just to build up the highest combo possible. And that's the whole game. And it would just be a really dumb game of trying to just get a high score. And I think people would play it because it would be dumb fun, but I also think people would get offended because people are driving around smacking cyclists' asses.
This won't take long. No one can stand before my blade. This won't take long. Let's keep moving. This won't take long. Okay, next, slow him down. That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
I like what the indie scene does now, but I miss the B tier games in the 90s and early 2000s where they weren't the best, but not the worst. Yeah. Wait, did we master that title? Oh man, alright, on to the next one. I do miss some of the B tier games. I miss some of the games from like back in the 90s and 2000s. Like I would say some of them weren't even B tier. I'd say some of them were like C or what the fuck is this tier. There was a fighting game on the PlayStation that I used to absolutely love, and it was by no means a fucking good game. Like it was a fucking weird ass fighting game, and it was called Evil Zone. That game was the shit. I will die on that hill of like how awesome that fighting game was. But it was definitely like a $5 bargain bin game, and I played the hell out of it.
This won't take long. Slow him down. Victory is ours.
Dude, I loved Evil Zone.
This won't take long. Slow him down. Slash. Let's keep moving.
There was one, and I may like as I'm playing through this, and once I get like done grinding this, and I'm just like progressing through the story. The only reason I know that game is because I love looking up obscure PS1 games. Hell yeah, dude. I'm considering. Let me hear your thoughts on this. As I progress through this, just to kind of like take a break in between the tedium of like constantly grinding out titles. I'm considering doing like a throwback either Tuesday or throwback Thursday, where I set up and play like PS1 games. So I'll stream like some obscure PS1 titles, and we'll try to play through those. Or I just keep pushing through and streaming Tales. I kind of want to break up the tedium a little bit, and play some of those like old classic games and start streaming those as well. But I'm just not sure if I should split the schedule or not. And I have a game in mind to start the like throwbacks with. I'll have to find some stuff for it, but get a little variety. All right. Yeah, I'll work on it. I'll send you a picture of the game that I'm thinking about starting with, because it's one I had, and it's one that my brother and I tried to play because we got it for Christmas, but we didn't understand how to play it. Like, it didn't really make sense to us. And it's this game right here. Oh, come on. So I'm thinking about this will be the first game I stream for a throwback game, because it's one that my brother and I always try to figure out how to play, and we just couldn't fucking get it to work. Oh, hell yeah. That's sick. That Moogle is sick. So I'm thinking about streaming this one. It definitely is. We got it for Christmas one year, and we tried playing it. We could not understand like how to play it. And I like, we've talked about like revisiting it. So I think I'll set up like for the first throwback game we play, we'll run Kingsley's Adventure.
Let's keep moving.
Ooh.
Stay sharp, even against
You won't live to regret. That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
You know what game series should come back? That was we had fun playing it on the Nintendo 64. We had it on the 64. We loved playing it. It was Lego Racer. Like, the Lego Racer game was fucking cool.
You won't live. Victory is ours.
stay sharp, even against
I have to be very discerning about like what budget or like what obscure games I do try to play, because like there were some on that game can't happen again because of some licensing or IP issues. Damn.
stay sharp, even against
Down. That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
That kind of sucks. Oh, that does. That stings a little bit.
It won't take long. Let's keep
But there's some games I gotta like, I'll probably not, or like try not to get into, like the weird license games, like the weird Mary Kate and Ashley games, or like the That's So Raven games. Like, I don't want to play like memeably terrible fucking games. And I don't want to play the obscure games that like everybody fucking like gets weird about, like Captain Novolin, the diabetes game for the SNES, or Bronchi, the bronchitis dinosaur. Like, I don't want to play those. Maybe if like we hit a point where like I do like some stream like subathon, like maybe I'll consider it, but otherwise probably not. I will absolutely play some of the weird Bible games if anybody wants to see those. I used to love playing fucking Super Noah's 3D Ark, which is basically just Doom, but, you know, for Christian kids.
Stay sharp, even against
That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
Like, Nintendo was such a weird era. There are tiers of stinky games out there, yes there are. There's definitely some, like, cool games, like,
Hardly worth dirtying my blade.
Natsume. I would probably play like a huge chunk of like the different Natsume library. Wait, which game? Oh, Super Noah's 3D Ark? Yeah, dude, that game is wild. I could always try my speedrun again. I don't know that I'll ever actually master it. I'm a few seconds short of the world record for Barbie Supermodel. The game is literally probably like 30 seconds long, but I just have not been able to hit the speedrun.
That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
But I do have an in-box copy of Barbie Supermodel for the SNES.
Won't take long. Mow him down. That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
But like, yeah, like Kingsley, I'm definitely gonna like figure that game out. Bubsy, should we try playing some Bubsy?
We won't fail. This won't take long. Okay, mow him down. Slash. Victory is ours.
I don't know if that's like an I'm not sure what Bubsy is, or are you really like looking to kill yourself? Because those games are comically bad.
Victory is ours.
Medieval, I wouldn't mind playing Medieval.
Won't take long.
How much free time you got to pull through Bubsy? It's a sanity check. Fair.
Won't take long. Okay, you won't miss that. That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
Clock Tower. I could jump in. We could play Clock Tower because the original Clock Tower is a little bit obscure.
Let's keep moving.
Dude, I will absolutely play Rampage World Tour. Are we talking N64 or PlayStation?
Blade.
I love the Rampage games. I loved those old Rampage games, so I would absolutely sit down and play fucking Rampage.
Mow him down. No one can stand before my blade.
stay sharp, even against
Rugrats. I can play the Rugrats games.
That was
I haven't touched those Rugrats games in a long ass time. N64 isn't as good with Rampage. Okay. Gauntlet. I can go back and play the Gauntlet. I don't think I ever finished that one. Bomberman and Bomberman Second Attack. That's another one that I never could figure out how to beat. So was the original Gauntlet. Like, the original Gauntlet literally just loops on itself. And you just keep going and going and going and going. Back in the day when I could sit up all night in game, I pulled an all-nighter on Gauntlet 2, I think it was. And we just played, and it was just, like, we cleared it, and then it just looped back on itself. Bomberman Hero? Yeah, we played, so my brother and I had Bomberman Second Attack, or Second Strike, or on the N64, the second one on the N64. And we made it to the final fortress, but there was a part in that fortress where you had to, like, try to cross lava with the ice bombs, and we could never get across the lava, and we never completed that game. Like, we dedicated an entire, like, when we first moved to Florida, we lived with my grandma, and it was a small 2-bedroom apartment. There wasn't a whole lot of room, so my brother and I set up our N64 and TV in kind of like this little utility room, utility closet, pantry sort of setup, and we sat in this room the entire summer and just tried to beat Second Attack, and I could never finish. We could not get through the final fortress. So I would love to go back and try to do that.
Let's keep moving. This won't take long. Let's keep moving.
Countdown is on. We have 10 minutes till we're done for the night. I've got to be up early tomorrow to go do all the fun vehicle registration stuff. I have to go get my car registered and actually get, like, Texas registration.
Hardly worth dirtying my blade.
Stay sharp, even against the last chance to bleed.
Slash! That was hardly worth dirtying my blade.
So I'm debating. You know what? I think we're going to spend the last part of this last 10 minutes. Let's see. How far are we? 4,500? Okay. So what we need to do is we're going to do this. We're going to combust these open. Mischief Makers, because treasure games are amazing. I never got to play Mischief Makers, but I always wanted to. Alright, so now we are going to buy 30 of everything that we can buy and then sell whatever we can sell and see if we can't unlock some stuff here. Okay, so that added 2 stamps to our card, so we're almost to level 6. What can we sell? I mean, I'll sell that for sure. Hold on to that stuff. Hold on to that stuff. What's the most expensive item I have to buy? So that puts us at level 6. What can we buy at level 6? The veggie set. Okay. The veggie set is going to cost us, so we can try to get it up this way. Or, let's go see. Dualize all those. I think we got a pretty solid year of stuff figured out on like what we can do stream wise. So I will look at getting like a Throwback Thursday set up, and we'll try to play some of these old school games and just see how absolutely frustrating they get. Okay, so now I have to go sell the veggie set since I couldn't do anything with it. It only sells for 56, but we pay $1,100 for it. That's some GameStop pricing right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We still need 6 stamps. And basically, what this will do, or like what I'm doing here, is once I get to level 7, there should be a weapon I can buy from this shop, and then I can synthesize that weapon, and then sell it, and then synthesize and then sell it, and by doing that a bunch of times, it will unlock titles. I just have to get to that point, which is kind of what I was trying to do, but we're probably gonna have to like do this for a minute. And honestly, I could probably just like sell all of this, because this will sell, I can sell all 30 of these. I can sell all of these. Sell all of these. Because the more of these that I can buy, then the more I can rack up in spending or whatever. Hold on to those. So that puts us at 6, 7, so we need 3 more. And hopefully this works. Mincemeat, eggplant, high grade beef, veggie set, holy bottle, life bottle, Panacea bottle, apple gel. Okay, so that got us to 7, right? Okay, so if I come in here, yeah, so now we can get the rare sword. And with the rare sword, like, we can buy mincemeat and spice that, and we can make curry. Hell yeah. So now, all of these, we want to dualize. so that they go up one. Oh, this takes forever. Okay, we have one rare sword left. We'll just do a defense shard on it. And then, if we go back to sell, and come over here. Sell all those. It only got us 4. And then we buy a bunch of them again. And we come back here. And we okay, and then go back up here and sell all these again. Okay, they got us to level 9. What can we buy at level 9? Ooh, a seafood set. That should also, there we go. Neophyte Smith title. So we did get we got the title. Go though. This one. A title awarded to craftsmen who dualize equipment and sell it for high prices. Know your qualities. Alright, so we have unlocked a couple more titles. I think some of these you probably like get from skits. I'm not entirely sure like how some of this works. But we will keep pushing through to try and unlock as many of these as we can. We will finish mastering this title tomorrow, and then we will keep moving down the line. But we are in a good spot. We have pushed the turtles to their point of unlocking. I think like there's only like one more level that they can unlock, which is level 10. I will have to research that before I fully commit to trying that. But other than that, we are good to go. Oh, we need to get to the save point. That's right.
Stay sharp, even against chumps.
And maybe I'll actually go buy one of those swords
That
just
was
so I...
hardly worth dirtying my blade.
No, I'll stick with the equipment I have for now.
Stay sharp, even against chumps.
For sure. I'm just going to run to the save point, and then I'm going to call it for the night, and I will catch you tomorrow. Thanks for coming and hanging out. I will work on getting stuff ready for Throwback Thursday, and we'll have some fun with some retro titles.
Hardly worth dirtying my blade.
Awesome Moogle art. Thank you for chilling with me. I'll catch you tomorrow, dude. Take it easy.
This won't take long. Okay, next slash. No one can stand before my blade.
Stay sharp, even against chumps.
Next slash. We won't fail.
the title screen. We are gonna flip over to our outro, and we are out. Good night, everybody. Have a good one.